hours of Sunday. So here's what you need to look out for as we anticipate storms this weekend. We are getting into severe weather season here across the state of Texas, and we are expecting these spring-like systems to really cause some fuel for some of these storms to become strong to severe as we progress through the rest of March. But for Saturday evening or Saturday afternoon, the time is going to be around maybe between 3 and 4 o'clock. But Saturday afternoon, we will see the chance for those showers to start moving in from the north. And then any storm that does move into the Houston area does have the potential for damaging wind, heavy rain, and that hail threat. So you're going to want to watch the forecast from this point forward into our weekend, because we are expecting it to be a little bit stormy, especially as we get into Saturday evening. And this is late Saturday evening, not all day Saturday is going to be stormy. It's going to be mostly during the later hours. So between the hours of 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., we will start seeing some of those storms move into our northern areas. And eventually between 9 and 10, very well could see some of those storms make it into downtown Houston. But for the most part, we're going to have a little bit of a lull in activity in the overnight hours, but then we're anticipating another round of storms as we head into the early hours of Sunday morning. So this is at 7 a.m. on Sunday. We could see more of those storms start firing off as we go into 7 to 8 o'clock a.m. And that's going to be the case for much of the day. It's all thanks to a cold front that's going to stall over southeast Texas, and that's going to keep the rain chance in the picture for much of the day and for much of the weekend as that front stalls across our area. You see some more storms flaring up by Sunday evening. So definitely expecting that to continue to bring us a pattern of unsettled weather as we head into our weekend. But this is our severe risk heading into Saturday. The Storm Prediction Center is including all of southeast Texas under a slight risk for severe weather. That does include any storm to have heavy rain, street flooding, as well as some strong winds and large hail with it. One thing that we have to keep an eye on is that the fact that of this hail concern, the hail outlook for Saturday, and this is again from the Storm Prediction Center, they are including areas north and west of Houston under the threat for some elevated threat for large hail with it. So where you see the hatched area or the black lines, that's more of the increased threat for large hail, between 1.5 inch to 2 inch size hail possible. That's likely the size of an egg as we head into these, looking at any storm that makes its way into the area for Saturday night into Sunday. So definitely that hail threat is going to be a concern. Most of the heavier rain is going to be north of Houston, but we cannot rule out some areas to cause some ponding on some roadways, especially as we head into the early hours of Saturday or into Sunday morning. So between maybe 1 inch to 2 inches of rain in some locations, but some areas could exceed that as we go into the next 24 to 48 hours. And then going in the next week, we're expecting another weather system to bring some more rain chances, but we are expecting it to be a little bit active, especially as we head into the next 24 to 48 hours, but mostly calm for right now. And for the early part of Saturday morning, again, I'm going to show you the future track one more time as we look at the timing. I think between the hours of 6 to 7 o'clock, or maybe between 4 and 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we will start seeing those storms start moving into our northern areas from Bryan, College Station, even Huntsville, Livingston, and around the Cleveland area. And then once we get closer towards 7, 8 o'clock, that's when we're going to start seeing that frontal boundary start pushing into closer towards Houston. And that's very well where we could also see more of that storm activity. So if you're heading to the rodeo tomorrow evening, and if you're heading in from the Woodland Spring or even between Cypress, you might be looking at some stormy conditions, especially for the evening hours north of Houston. Then once we get closer towards 9, 10 o'clock is when we're expecting to see more of those storms moving into closer towards Houston proper in that and around the downtown area. And like I said, a break in between, and then we are expecting another round of those storms to fire up for Sunday morning. So we could be looking at a pretty active Sunday morning as we lose an hour of sleep. Of course, our time changes this weekend as we are going to spring forward for an hour, but we are expecting it to be a little bit of an unsettled weather pattern for not only this weekend, but for much of next week as well, as we're tracking several weather systems that are going to bring some showers and storms. And like I said, we're going to have to really keep an eye on that severe threat heading into the next 7 days, because we are in the spring season as our temps are still going to remain mostly warm. Highs in the 70s and 80s. Weather impact alert for Saturday. Rain chances lasting into the early hours of Sunday, and then we're tracking our next system that really could bring some more scattered showers and storms for next Wednesday. And that's going to be a little bit of a more stronger system that could bring some cooler temperatures, especially for the end of next week, with highs in the 70s and lows in the 50s. So we could be looking at some chilly temperatures once again back in our forecast with our next system for next week. But we are expecting those temperatures to remain mostly warm, at least for the next several days. But looking at right now, we are expecting it to be mostly quiet and calm for the next several hours. We're not looking at any rain chances. I know it's also spring break. We have to keep in mind that as we look into our severe weather outlook for this afternoon, there is a chance for some severe weather for portions of North Texas. If you're heading to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the Storm Prediction Center is including Dallas-Fort Worth under a slight risk for severe weather that does include a large portion of the I-20 corridor, and even areas in far North Texas and portions of Oklahoma under an enhanced risk for severe weather, as they could see some more showers or some strong to severe storms to start flaring up between 4 and 5 o'clock this evening. But radar right now is not looking too active. We're seeing mostly calm conditions, especially along our major highways and freeways here across the state of Texas and north and west of Houston. But you're already starting to see, even north of Dallas, where you see that severe storm that just started firing off in Oklahoma, just south of Sulphur. That's what we're going to have to keep an eye on if you are heading to the Dallas-Fort Worth area later on today or maybe tomorrow as well, because we could see more of that storm chance to become a little bit of an issue for not only for portions of central Texas, but for us here across the Houston area, as we are anticipating a pretty high travel weekend as a lot of folks head off to spring break and head off to their travel destinations going into tomorrow. But mostly calm, temperatures in the 70s. We are expecting those winds to start picking up later this evening, so a quiet evening for our Friday, but we are expecting that those weather conditions to start becoming a bit more active in terms of storm chances and severe weather for portions of us as we head into tomorrow evening. So definitely keep that in mind, that if you are heading into across the state or across Texas, we are expecting those conditions to remain a bit more active as we head into tomorrow evening as well. So as always, we are looking at the latest. We are going to continue to bring you continuous weather updates as we go into the next 12 to 24 hours here across the area. But as always, you can find the latest weather updates on KHOU.com and on the KHOU 11 app. Again, I'm meteorologist Chris Ramirez with your weather update. Make sure to tune in at 4 p.m. for the KHOU 11 news at 4.